All right.
Welcome back to day two, part two. Michael, let's start with you.
It's amazing. Really, if you take a look at everything we're going to do, let alone we have all this leadership and we're looking about leadership, but it's taking us to the next level and it's making a difference with everything we do. If you look at the team right here and you look at all the leaders that have been on, and this is only day two. So if you take day two and you take everything else that's going to happen, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about too, not only tonight, so everybody, you need to stay on because you've got some of the most amazing leaders that are going to continue the education and take you to that next level. But I think the exciting part about this, Ava, and everybody else on here, and Rex and Parisa and Jim, is tomorrow, for those of you, you're going to get up in the morning, right? You're going to get up and you're going to be new from what just happened today. You're going to take the learning, you're going to move it through. You're going to have that expanded mindset. Remember, we call heightened state. We're going to tell lots of jokes, by the way, for a while, but it really gets you to that next learning. Tomorrow morning, we're going to kick it off with none other than Joseph McClendon. So everybody give that a round of applause. Tony, been with Tony forever, obviously as head trainer and main presenter, but that is going to help ground everything you've learned so far, take it into day three, and then you're going to learn all day tomorrow with everything that we have. We have one of the vice presidents from Sony. We have so many people coming on tomorrow that are going to take you to that next level into day four, into day five, into day six, day seven, which I'm not even going to talk about yet because that's going to blow your socks off. You're going to be a new person after all of this. And you know what? We're bringing it around the world to people that don't have as much as we do. And that makes a difference every single time. So give that a thunderous round of applause, everybody out there. Put a 1 in the chat if you've learned all day long, and make sure that you know that you are with us until next week and then forever. Because the one other thing I'm going to say is make sure that you register, because we have so much. Here comes the ones. Look at that. Because you have so much to learn. We're going to have a post event. We're going to get together. We're going to network. We're going to be together, and we're going to continue this for years to come. And you want to be part of everything that we're doing and creating and learning every single day.
For sure. Michael, thank you so much. I'm excited for day three. Day three is a power-packed day. We can't even say how much are coming tomorrow, but it's all talent and absolutely pure leadership. So really, really grateful for that. Let's get around the room. Rex Sykes, what are your thoughts for day two so far and what's coming up in conversation?
Well, I was going to say, can you hear me? Oh,
yes.
What I was going to say was, how lucky we are that we get to participate from wherever we are with these powerful people who live life on their terms, who have created the things that they want to be able to do and help other people help themselves. I mean, it is truly an amazing thing that all of these people have been assembled in one place by the Los Angeles Tribune, by the efforts of Mo Rock and you, Ava, and Alicia, and Michael, and Parisa, and Jim, and in the entire team of us who are dedicated and completely committed to bringing the very best we can to everyone around the world. Now, here's the thing. We can't get it all the way around the world alone, but you can help us get it around the world by sharing it to your friends and your family and strangers and each and every person because that is the way we make things go viral, is to share it because you care about someone enough to bring them the best that you have. And certainly the people that are here and the people who you heard from and the people who are coming are top of the line. So stay tuned, share it out, comment a lot, live or in replay, comment, ask questions, like, subscribe, do whatever you do on social media, but make it happen because you're the kind of person who makes it happen.
For sure. That's what I love about the platform that we have.
I got to jump in for one sec because Rex, what you just said was so brilliant, because when you share it, it's not about you. It's about everybody else, and everybody else is getting the learning and education that maybe you have so much more than they do. Maybe it's just the one phone in the village where people are learning and listening and getting something they'd never be able to get. And that's what we're bringing out there. Okay, I'm done.
Beautiful.
Michael, that is so important. And Rex, thank you. Yeah, you know, it's really important that you guys comment, ask questions, because you know what we love about the platform that we have in the Los Angeles Tribune is not like watching TV where you passively watch. You're part of the co-creation. You're part of the conversation. And with that, I really want to appreciate Debbie Prediger, you know, who's been with us all day, commenting all day long. You know, make sure that you share your takeaways. You know, I have the ability to star whenever you guys put your takeaways and you put, you know, quotes from um our experts. And so it makes it easier for us. You actually are helping the Los Angeles Tribune team be able to capture those nuggets. So that's really, really important. Parisa, what say you?
Yeah. So, okay, today's been so powerful, so incredible. Everyone has brought so much value to the table. And for me, what I love about really just taking the time to listen to people is that you can learn so much. You can learn like the wisdom and the knowledge of someone based on their experiences without you having to really go through all of the experiences that they've had, but taking the time to genuinely be intentional about learning from them and listening to them and taking notes. Or, and if it's the case that you're on here, then commenting and really allowing yourself to take the actions to help it commit to your memory. And that's what we've been having here today so far, and yesterday, and tomorrow, and all the way through day 7. And according to Michael, you know, forever, because we are here connected together. I just found so much value with all of this today. And I can't wait for all these other days too, and for the rest of this evening.
For sure. You know, Parisa, I love what you just said, because there's something about every expert that comes to our platform really brings their best content. You know, we only have limited time with each expert. Normally, you would sit with them like Jay Abraham, like Mark Victor Hansen, Ty Lopez today. Normally, you would like, travel and then be with them for a whole, because we only have them for between 20 minutes to an hour at the most. They're really like bringing their best contents, packing it up, and handing it to us. And so it's so important, you know, and so such a thing that we have this platform where people can share their expertise from the comfort of our own home or wherever you're watching from. So thank you for that, Parisa. Jim Miller, what are your thoughts about today?
Well, my thoughts. What another beautiful masterclass that we've been presented with. You know, I want to make a point that, you know, there's not one speaker that's being paid for this. They're all coming, you know, from a place of giving. They're being very, very, you know, in congruency with what the message that they're delivering. Where, I mean, to a T, almost every one of them have said that the greatest key to their success was providing value for someone else. And when you think about that, it's so counterintuitive. I mean, it's you know, really breaking into a new way of thinking that I can be successful by making other people successful and giving. This is the road to success, because most people, including myself, when I was younger, was thinking that the way to success was to grab and to take and to make, right? So that I can ascend the ladder. But that's absolutely incorrect. So this message that's being delivered is priceless.
You know, it's about part of that too is Ava, sorry. It's about the being of service piece. And we're all, you know, we're really here to be of service and doing the best we can every day. And our speakers and trainers and everybody here are living their mission, and we're bringing their mission out to all of you. And I think that's what the important part of everything we do is. Ava.
Well, you know, I actually do want to give the floor to you, Michael, for a moment, just to tee up, you know, what to look forward to tomorrow, and then we'll have Jim Miller and Rex Sykes, you know, talk about persuasion and influence and the mindsets and the psychology that goes with that. So that's going to be a very powerful session. But before that, Michael, the floor is yours on teeing us up for what to look forward to tomorrow. Because tomorrow, let me tell you a secret. It's a Michael Silver.
Michael,
so what do you have?
Michael, before you start, may I just say this? that I know that each and every person here, and some that aren't, live by the idea that the workshop begins when the workshop ends. And so this 7 days is the beginning, as you would say, Michael, of a life transformative process that will continue long after these 7 days are over. After tonight is over and we begin tomorrow, it's a whole new day of application and appreciation and understanding and transformation. So I just want to thank everybody who's here. So take it away, Michael.
All right. Well, tomorrow, thank you, Rex. And that's exactly right. It is that it's a lifelong process. It's taking, and that's why invest in every course. Every course that's presented to you, we always say if it's, as long as it's ecological, non-harmful to yourself or others, literally invest in yourself the rest of your life. Whether it's investing your time, investing your money, whatever that is, just say yes. Everybody right now, put your right hand up and just say yes. Keep moving forward. So tomorrow is all about bringing that forward. Tomorrow, we're going to kick it off with Joseph McClendon. Again, you will see fire coming out of this connection. It's going to really rock the day as you move forward into, we're going to have discussion around international business. We're going to have discussion around business in different languages. We're going to have discussion around how you take this to the next level. And it's going to be interactive. So we're going to want you to interact it on the chat. We're going to ask for questions. We're going to move to really media and how media fits within everything that you're doing. And even if you're in a small town or village or wherever it is, it's still something to know what's going on around you and how the world works and how it's, and what's actually coming next. We're going to talk about podcasting and really the whole transition of podcasting, and it's getting your story out there. That's what it is. Anybody can have a podcast, and we'll talk about that tomorrow too. $23 billion that little industry did last year, and nobody still understands it of where it's going, which is exciting because you can be part of that. And then we're going to transition. You're going to have somebody on stage who was vice president over at Sony for entertainment. You're going to hear things that are coming and get experiences that you didn't have before. We're also going to have a gentleman whose one company has 48,000 clients, and he works a whole 4 days a year. But how he created that as a leader and how the leadership under him was developed and how being a leader and what that means, how you can do that from either being the best employee on the planet to be actually the best CEO. Wherever you're at is exactly where you need to be. And we're going to wrap the whole thing. We're going to put it into a package and give you things to walk away with that you can experience. And we're so excited by tomorrow, which then goes into day 4, and that's a whole nother story. But be there tomorrow. Don't be late because we start right away, and we're excited to be on.
Absolutely excited. Thank you so much, Michael. Oh my gosh, you just like really built up our excitement for day 3. Day 3 is a whole Michael orchestrated event, so we're looking forward for that. You know, you've got some cheers here already. Can't wait for to be part of tomorrow's event. And yes, you know that you're a part of the co-creation of this event. You know, comment, ask questions. We'd love to have you. You know, you all are co-founders of LA Leadership Week. You can seriously claim that. Forward the link, you know, of wherever we're sharing, and say, I'm excited to be a co-founder of LA Leadership Week, you know, really raising up leadership consciousness in the planet. That's you. And we're all doing this for you. And with this, you know, we have a very, very important topic of when it comes to leadership really comes with influence. And, you know, when it comes to influence and the topic of influencing and persuasion, I could think of very, very few people that would top that I personally am connected with, other than, you know, Jim Miller and Rex Sykes. So let me bring them up on stage. Jim Miller and Rex Sykes, we are excited for this moment. We've got about 20 minutes with you, and I know that's not enough to pick your brain when it comes to leadership and influence. And after you, we're going to have the Young Black and Business panel coming. But for now, with wow us with what it takes for us, you know, we call ourselves, you know, ordinary people who are really not well versed in the area of persuasion influence. You know, what you have in your toolbox, you know, for us to learn. And I'm going to bring myself down the stage.
Jim, How would you like to start? What would you like to say?
I'd like to start by you sharing some brilliance with us on this topic, of course.
Well, okay. Well, thank you.
Well, so let me come back. I didn't do a great job introducing these two geniuses. Sometimes when you're familiar with people, you think everyone's familiar with them too, right? But Jim Miller is the former VP of Ty Lopez. Well, definitely. Were you a former VP at Ty Lopez too?
I worked
Ty
with Ty
Lopez.
and built his sales team. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, Success Resources. So when it comes to influence and sales persuasion, Jim Miller is a master, and now he's with us at the Los Angeles Tribune as part of our, client elevation, client care department. Rex Sykes is I know he doesn't like this, but I love that he's the creator of Mind Design. And the reason I love that is it's very hard to explain. Like it's a confluence of many thoughts and learnings, from hypnosis to NLP to advanced techniques that can only be described as his very own signature called Mind Design. And with that, let me take myself back down the stage. The conversation is yours.
All right. Well, Jim, thank you so much for that. And Ava, thank you so much for edifying both of us. This is really an opportunity that I enjoy, being with someone like Jim and yourself and all the other people. Some people know that I'm in the movie business. I'm an actor, but I'm also a filmmaker. And one of the things that people often do when they want to pursue a movie career or a writing career or directing career is they run up to everybody and they give them their screenplay, or they give them picture and resume, or they tell them all about themselves. And they go, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a director, I'm this, as if the other person should care. And oftentimes what you only do is you tend to alienate people. I mean, consider if somebody ran up to you in the street tomorrow and handed you their resume, or handed you their book, or handed you their DVD or something like that. Now you have to carry it. So you have to first think about, what might I add to this person that would get them to request my picture, my resume, my DVD, or my book? And so the way I think about it is, when you have a movie and you're making a movie, you have anywhere from 3 people to 300 people, maybe even more than that, working together to try and bring the vision of the director and the writer onto the screen. And it costs anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds of millions of dollars to do this, especially if it's a union movie. And so you're paying by the second, lots and lots and lots of money. So when it comes to hiring somebody who's going to be an actor or going to be a crew member, there's a lot of consideration that goes into that. Some of it is financial. Some of it is who has the star power to open up a movie so that we're profitable, that people will come because of the marketing and everything else. But there's another way that people think about it, and that is simply like this. If we were going to go on a camping trip into the wilderness or a fishing trip, who do you want to bring with you that you would enjoy having with you? Who's going to add to your enjoyment and to your fulfillment of being there? You certainly don't want a curmudgeon who's going to complain and whine all day, or who's just in it for themselves, who's not a team player, who won't help you carry the goods to the camping site or anything like that. You want somebody who's really pleasing and a fun person and a delightful person, and a person who will go the extra mile with you. And Napoleon Hill said that was truly one of the most important things, was to develop a pleasing personality. And then he described how you do that. And to me, that is one of the biggest ways to be influential or persuasive. And that is to demonstrate to the other people that they are of value and that their interests are in your heart, and that your concern is caring for them and uplifting them and being a cooperative, collaborative, harmonious team player that's going to move them further along. And when they see that in you, because that's the kind of person you are, then influence and persuasion becomes almost a non-issue, because they're going to want to hear from you. They're going to want your input, and they're going to like getting it, because you're a likable person who demonstrates your worth and your value before you ever open your mouth. So,
very cool.
Thank you.
Well, I often like to, the whole body of work of influence is something very intriguing. And I like to exemplify it using my own personal story, which is, again, what I know to be one of the most influential ways to interact with a person is to tell a story, because they get involved in it and they see themselves in it. And a lot of people ask me, how did you get the job at Tony Robbins? You know, because I was in the home improvement industry at the time, and I wanted to move to California. And so I looked I said, I need to get a job there. So I looked, and there was an ad posted for vice president of sales, Tony Robbins. It was about 4 months old. So I assumed right away the job's probably taken, right? And this, by the way, this is chapter 1 of my book, right? The book that I have coming out. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to apply for this job. And I know I'm absolutely not qualified for it. I live way away from California. I have never been in the self-help or the personal development industry, although I was an avid consumer of all of the work. So what I realized is I had to have a winning strategy. And my own personal motto is to outthink and out-execute. So the first thing I had to do was outthink. There were over 800 applicants for this position. And I knew one thing that they all had in common. They were all in a herd. They were all more qualified than me. And geographically, they were probably a lot closer. So if I put my name in that pool, there was absolutely no way I was getting hired. So what I did is I realized what the fault was of all of those applicants, where they were going to go wrong, where their Achilles heel was. And the Achilles heel was that all of them would apply for the position as if they were applying with Tony himself. So they would speak the language of sales. But I realized that the person that's making the absolute first decision was the human resource director. And so what I realized is that I need to get that languaging. So I went on a website here in San Diego of Nokia, right? The camera company at the time. And I went to their internal help wanted or employment positionings available. And I looked for a similar role that I was applying for. And I copied and pasted the languaging of that human resource director, which was a completely different language than I spoke. And I wrote my opening letter, and I wrote my resume using human resource speak, and I got a call the very next day. And once I got that call, I went through several interviews, and Rex, they sent me to Tony Robbins. He was at a UPW event. They sent me through the event, which was wonderful. And now on the third day, when Tony was finished his work and Joseph McClendon was going to take over, I was to meet with Tony. And this was the final interview. And that night, I stood up the whole night because I was wrestling with what could I tell Tony Robbins about myself that would impress him. And I came to my answer. After being up all night long, and by the way, watching this remarkable program by Joseph Campbell about the shaman, right? Here's what I came up with. I was going to say nothing, because anything that I was going to say was going to work against me. Mm-hmm. So I showed up at the end. I showed up at his suite. Of course, he was an hour late. And all of a sudden, this explosion comes through the door. It was his girlfriend at the time, who is his wife now, and him. And she's yelling at him, Tony, we got to pack. We got to leave. We're going to be late. We're never going to make it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, I'm not going to have my interview. And so there's this tremendous amount of activity going on. And finally, Tony looks over and he sees me and he goes, oh, my God, Jim, we have to interview. Come here. And he sat me down and I sat across from him, and he had his day timer, and he opened it up, had his pen in there, and he asked me a question. I didn't even hear it. I grabbed the day timer out of his hand. I grabbed the pen out of his hand. I drew a big X across the page. I put the pen in the middle of it, gave it back to him, looked at him, and I said one word, go. And he froze. He said, what do you mean? I said, go. And he drew a line across the page real quick. And I said, you froze when I gave you that instruction, didn't you? He said, yeah, what are you doing? I said, this is what you did your audience last night. I happened to be on the back riser, and you did your final call to action, right? Because we all know the UPW is culminates in his call to action for his mastery program. I said, you did a brilliant job. And I let him know all of the implanted NLPs and all the strategies to let him know I know my game. But I said, here's what you did at the end. You told everybody, if you're interested or if you have a question, we have tables in the back corner on both corners, and we have tables here on both front corners. And then you left the stage. And what you didn't see is what I saw. The room froze. They didn't know which way to go. They were bumping into each other. And when they finally got to the table, people that were holding credit cards to purchase were standing behind 5 people who were at the very same table with questions. And he goes, oh my God. And he called his girl, you got to meet this guy. Come meet this guy. And she grabbed me by the wrist and she said, come on, you're coming with us. And I had no idea where I was going. Wow. And so I got in the back of the limousine, and Tony starts talking, and I'm not hearing a word he said. The only thing I'm thinking to myself is if my boys could see me now in the back of a limousine, getting ready to get hired. And I said, oh, by the way, do I have the job? And he said, yeah, you have the job. And so what we did was the next event, anyone who had a question, go to the 2 back tables. Anyone who's ready to sign up, come to the front tables. Tony, you're the shaman. Remember Joseph Campbell? You stay in the room and hold the energy, and offer a photo op for everyone who enrolls. And at that event, which followed right on the heels of 9/11 in Orlando, Florida, we set a record. And within the second year of being at that company, we had generated more revenue, more net revenue for the company in its history in all the years combined. And it was simply using the correct strategies of influence instead of, in other words, solving people's problems, having a solution, not focused on the money, but focused on presenting a solution. This is how we went about doing our business over there.
I love it. I love that. That's such a great story. And, the other thing that you solved is people go, well, go down there, and they get to a fork in the road and they don't know which way to go. But you said you go that way or you go that way. So you gave them very clear instructions in the call to action. And I love it. You said, stay here, keep the energy by your presence, and then offer this additional thing, a photo op with Tony.
That's Jay Abraham's work right there.
Exactly. For those who signed up. I mean, that is truly a beautiful tale, a beautiful story, and a beautiful example of how, when you know what you're doing, the results that you can get. So thank you for sharing that, Jim.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I encourage anyone, especially if you are an entrepreneur and you are faced with the circumstances of having to enroll or sell in order to generate your revenue, the first thing that I encourage is that number one, you understand, you research and you understand what is it that your prospects are coming to you for, because they're not coming to you for your program. They're coming to you for a solution that your program can provide them. So instead of speaking to them about what your features, what your benefits are of your program, simply make sure the conversation is heavily weighted on them, on what it is, future pace them into the future of not having a solution and what it's going to cost them, and then future pace them into the near future in the event that they were to actually be in resolution and in a vision of abundance and the solution. And then counter what you're creating is cognitive dissonance, as you know, Rex. And we can't stand in that cognitive dissonance. Our mind is designed to resolve, to create resonance. And this is what influence does. And people will move toward you and be attracted into what it is that you're offering them because they see the solution.
Well, that is, again, it's a very beautiful, very powerful. You know, the brain can only work in one direction. It doesn't work in two directions, and it just learns what it does. It does what it learns to do. And one of the things about the brain is been exemplified in the law of attraction and the work of Buddha and everyone else. And Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world, or live from the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you know what the outcome is, you can accomplish that outcome. When you're not clear on your outcome, you can't accomplish the outcome. And if you're wanting or wishing an outcome, you're wanting and wishing. But when you have clear, precise instructions about how to fulfill something, it's easy to do. And you exemplify that. That was again great a way of explaining the process that people can use to not only help themselves be more influential to others, but also help themselves to accomplish the things that they want to accomplish.
Absolutely. Standing in the certainty and the authority of hope. You know, my greatest hero in the game of influence is Christ. Because if you study the way that he interacted with people, he never tried to impose himself on anyone.
Right.
And what he always did was he held out hope and future paced, right? The kingdom is upon you, right? In other words, taking the future and giving it to who it is, his audience, in the now. And then using metaphor, using parables, explaining, because telling the stories. I mean, it was a wonderful storyteller. And people get very intrigued in the story, and they see themselves and they realize, you know what? I need to be in this story because I can see getting the results for myself if I take the same actions.
Absolutely. You know, the other thing that he did and did not do is he told stories, but they weren't about himself. He didn't go, I'm the guy you got to come to. I healed this person and I raised that person from the dead. Oh, and by the way, I fed the 5,000 with a couple of fish. Oh, I walked across the water. And wait until you see the final act of my career. He didn't talk about himself. He didn't tell stories about himself. He didn't promote himself. What he did was he went around and ministered to the people or healed the people and said, do you believe that they've been healed? And they go, yes. He goes, good. Go and sin no more. Your faith has made you whole. He put everything onto the person and empowered that person, told them, stop making the same old silly mistakes. You're free now. Go and do some good. And they would do what he said because he gave them crisp and clear instructions without it being a vanity project, without it being a sale, without having to have billboards and people singing his praises. He was very direct, and then people knew exactly what to do. And I can't think of a better role model than Jesus because he was humble. It's kind of like, you know, he healed. And people say, I'm a healer. Well, we're all healers. So if you cut yourself and your body will heal. There's nothing special about being a healer because we heal. But some people want to claim that as like, that's my career. And other people just go about their business healing. So there's something about humble servant leadership that is really, really appealing that I find in the works of Christ that we don't find in a lot of people today for various reasons. So,
yeah, he's again, he knows the human mind. He knows our nature. He knows our character. I mean, he's done case studies of the entire population. So his studies have a lot of veracity and power.
Well, and he also made an important point about, you know, he made the kingdom of God present. The kingdom is within you. Right. It wasn't just about laying your treasures up there. It was within you. And when he said things like, I and the Father are one, or I am that I am, it wasn't that he was saying, I'm different than you, I'm better than you, I'm I'm divine, but you're not, but that we're all in this together. And when you realize that, you come into your power.
And again, another thing too, Rex, and I really appreciate you, by the way, holding this conversation with me, because you know, I am a Christian, and I do you know, I welcome and I embrace everyone, every religion, because there's good in everything. There's good in every religion. But one of the things too is that with Christ, with Buddha, is that they were relatable. They
Yes.
came down to the level of those they sought to serve, right? So that, yeah, huh? Yeah.
No. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
point.
and that's so important, because, you know, I know the extraordinary work you do with NLP is to understand the person first, understand their needs, right? Go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. I always, and I've said this probably on the show while we've been here in the last 2 days. It seems like a longer time than that, but I never call myself a leader, because I don't think leaders call themselves leaders. Other people call leaders leaders, so I don't even assume that mantle. I say I'm a tour guide, because I can help people look out for the things that they should avoid, and pay attention to the things that they can enjoy, so that the journey is wonderful. And I walk with them, not in front of them, not behind them, but as a guide, I take them on a journey. And so I think, that's not about me. That's what we can do with each other. When we have a family member or a child, we don't yank the kid. Hopefully, if we're caring, we walk with them, and our spouse or a significant other or a life partner, whatever it is, we want to walk with them. We want to participate in their enjoyment. We want to help them from whatever is bothering them, and to see them do better than us. And I think what true leaders are the people who, when we say we make more leaders, we don't want followers. You want leaders. Is that it's the teacher's goal. And I say this again. There's no such thing as a teacher, but there's a presenter. But the presenter's goal should be that everybody surpasses you, and that you. I'm a quarterback, for example. My job is to pass the ball or hand off the ball. So you score, not because I'm the star player, but because I've assisted the team in scoring. But you run the ball in, you get that touchdown, and that's that we work together in this regard. And the more that anyone can help another person accomplish what they want to accomplish, overcome what they'd like to overcome, and live the life of a fantastic journey, which I believe is a Garden of Eden-like journey, that we have the most wonderful life that we can. And you do it because you love it and because you care. And Jim, you are such a positive influence, and a person of faith, and a person of principle, and a person who practices what they do. And you demonstrate that. I mean, the very story about Tony, and how because that takes a certain mindset to be able to say, hey, let me tell you, it would be better if, and Tony was like, oh God, I get that, and was willing to implement what you did. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful story, a true example of influence and persuasion.
Well, I'm really, really enjoying this conversation. You two are some of the people that I could listen to all day. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to tee it up there that we should have a summit around this, around this conversation, because it's really very fascinating and interesting. But I would like us to transition to our next panel. Thank you, Jim, for the inspiration, the powerful story.
Thank
Rex,
you. Thank you, Rex.
Thank you. Much as their co-hosts in the Los Angeles Tribune, they are experts in their own rights. And everyone in the Los Angeles Tribune that's supporting us, that's co-hosting with us, co-producing with us, are leaders and experts. And you're going to see more of them in the next 5 days. But for now, Rex, I would like to ask you, when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, how important is it to have mentors who are supporting you if you're in the very beginning startup, not necessarily from a place where you have relatives who knew how to do it? How important is it to have a mentor or a community that supports you?
It's priceless. There's no value you can place on it. we never get anywhere alone, although we'd like to think we do. We never get anywhere alone. And those people who've gone before us and who have the experience. I mean, there's this thing right now where people say, well, if you're one step ahead or two steps ahead of another person, turn around and teach them. And I go, well, that's great unless you're heading over a cliff, because the person has to know what they're doing in order to share what you should do. So who you pay attention to is really, really critical. And there are a lot of people who give wrong advice out there, and they make you struggle and work really hard and do all these things in order to have all this stuff so that you can be important, instead of understanding that you're already important. And if you understand that and you're already abundant and you're already, wonderful, then from that comes the right doing to get the things that you want to have. But most people will never, ever discover this on their own. And they might read a book and go, that's a good idea. So they need a person to guide, to coach, to help, to assist them, and to demonstrate what is possible that they can't even begin to imagine yet what is possible, because it's outside of their comfort zone, outside of their box. So a mentor.
What I'm hearing you say, is like someone who sees you greater than you see yourself.
God, yeah.
Even greater beyond what you see yourself. How about you, Jim? How important is a community of entrepreneurs, a leader who believes in you, as a startup business, or a business, a solopreneur, or a small business on your own?
Well, belief is a big word, and it truly means that somebody knows you intimately and can speak into your reality. For example, when I have a sales force or an enrollment team, I might have, well, with Tony, I had over 100 people. And it was imperative that I got to know each one of them intimately. Because if I'm going to believe in you, I can't know you. It's like, there was a story of these two Jewish rabbis who were walking, and one said to the other, Saul, do you love me? And he says, well, yes, of course I love you. And they walked a little bit more, and he stopped him and said, Saul, do you love me? And he said, yes, I love you. And they walked a little bit more, and then he asked him, he says, Saul, do you know my pain? And he goes, no, I don't know your pain. He said, then how can you love me if you don't know my pain? Right? So to believe in someone is to know their pain, to know who they are, right? To have a companion, come from the Latin with, pan meaning bread, someone you can break bread with, right? This companion. And this is really what anyone who works with you, anyone who's on a journey with you, is your companion.
Wow. And I love both of your answers, Rex and Jim, because you perfectly described the next person that we're bringing up on the screen. Roosevelt Williams III. Roosevelt Williams III is a champion of entrepreneurs. Just like you described, Jim Miller, knowing their pain, being able to speak into them. Like you described Rex Sykes, believing and seeing them, greater than they see themselves. That's Roosevelt for a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs, the young Black and business community. Roosevelt, we're going to take ourselves out of the screen, and you're going to bring in some of your invited guests. But tell us a little bit about why BNB and what your mission and vision is when you founded and when you brought this company to life. Oops, you're muted.
You got me. 21st century technology. But I was just so excited that I just started speaking. Jim and Rex, a phenomenal segment, because when we talk about fellowshipping, we're not referring to two fellows in a ship. We're talking about, that communion and that community, peace. And one thing also wanted to share, about scripture. We have the Old Testament, the New Testament, and we're here to give the true testament. So that's why I started Young Black and in Business. And that's actually scripture as well, because we work with early emerging entrepreneurs to bring them out of the darkness and into the light. The light is the information. And in business, we're speaking about educational, instructional, entrepreneurial content, the information, what you don't know. So we incorporate that, that light, that scripture into business. And it's pretty much service. Identify a problem, provide a solution, and make a profit. So that's Young Black in the Business. in a nutshell. Just 100% solutions. In conclusion, we say bring us your problems. Don't bring us your complaints. We can solve problems all day. It may take an hour, a day or two a week. We can solve problems, but we're unable to solve complaints. So that's why I'm here to have this partnership with you all today, especially with the Los Angeles Tribune, because we're providing solutions to problems, and we're here to be solution-based.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Roosevelt. Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to add something. I want to point out something about Roosevelt and something that Jim said, because the audience may not understand the term future pace. But if they do, one of the reasons why you future pace is because the person who you're helping future pace may not be able to do that on their own. They don't see the possibilities yet, so you help by filling that in. And that is what Roosevelt has been doing. He's been helping, he's been seeing and helping other people see further than they would have otherwise by what he has created for them and for himself.
Yes, sir. And we don't need a country club with a cross on top. We can fellowship anywhere. We can be solution-based anywhere. So I'm happy to be here today. You got it, Rex.
So good. So good. Okay, we're going to take ourselves off the screen, Roosevelt, and you go and call and bring your people, and we'll bring them as you call them.
Absolutely. Let's call in Adrian. This phenomenal woman is definitely making visible waves in SoCal. Miss Adrian, join us. I know you have a lot going on, so we want to thank you for sharing your time with us today and some solutions. It's a leadership week, and we are global right now. So before we bring in our next speaker, Kamal, share with us what does leadership mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And before I answer that question, I like to wrap up what you said there. And with my philosophy and solutions and issues and all the things that fall into that category is that every issue or complaint or whatever it is has a solution. So when you get in that mindset of focusing on that solution, everything else just seems to fall away. And I can speak to that from personal experience. So leadership, I'm so excited to be here. This is such an amazing, environment to be a part of, and the people that I've been meeting, yourself, Roosevelt, I just am so enthralled to be here, and this is really exciting. So thank you. Now, as far as leadership and what that means to me, I think that having worked in telecommunications for 13 years and then starting a financial planning practice and then now starting a marketing business, I've seen and worn a lot of different hats and just really had a good experience about what good leadership can look like and what not great leadership can look like and knowing, the differences there and how it can help either propel someone forward or really hold them back. And I think the foundation of that is really comprised of the environment that we keep around us. That's personally, that's professionally, that's financially. When we put ourselves in a place to have professional guidance that is unbiased and someone just genuinely wants to see you do good in the world and supports you and introduces you to people and brings you in the rooms that you should be in, there's nothing more powerful than that type of support. And the right leader will do that when they see what that person is capable of. And if they need a little guidance along the way, the right leader is going to say, hey, I got you. I'm going to show you the way. You're going to color it yourself because you've got your own personality there. But I'll show you here at least a framework that's really beneficial. And I think a lot of that has to boil down to mindset about yourself, your self-love, and then just making sure that you keep people around you that can keep you on the right track. It's way too easy to be knocked off of what you're focused on and distracted by this and that. But when you are so focused and you have such clarity on your goal and your end result and what you desire for yourself, and you start bringing other leaders in there to support that vision, they are going to think about things that you can't even fathom because you haven't been in that spot before. So leaders to me can come in all shapes and sizes. The leader is really foundationally comprised of someone who is willing to listen and is very skilled at listening. And then also knowing how to guide you and give you resources that they know will help you along the way, but not giving you the whole answer or the whole solution. They want to make sure that they're getting you to dig deeper into who you are and pulling that out and creating the life and designing that you want there.
That's right. Way to kick down the door and to be able to set the pace. One thing when I believe in leadership, I think about LTL. This is a writer downer. This is a writer downer. When I say writer downer, you may want to get your power pen and write it down. LTL, a leader learns to listen and listens to learn. Leadership, LTL, learn to listen and listen to learn. Because leadership is not given. People step into leadership. You know, a leader steps into leadership. So thank you very much, Adrian, for joining us. We do have some more individuals that we're going to bring in here on this segment, and then we're going to have a brief panel discussion. The next individual, Brother Fate. Brother Fate, let's bring in this distinguished leader. What we got? Kamal. Kamal was excited to jump in here. Kamal, the Black Seinfeld, and then we'll bring in Brother Fate up next. Brother Kamal, welcome. Join us. What does leadership mean to you? Who are you? What do you do? How can you be contacted, Mr. Leader? You got it.
So what's good with y'all out there? My name is Kamal Johnson. I'm a news anchor. I put my shows on YouTube, Kamal Johnson Network. That's where you can find me. I don't consider myself a leader. I don't want to be a leader. The reason why? They ask leaders like us. Now, leadership, I'm all about that. Leadership is about assisting, helping out your people, helping out people in need. But leaders, that sounds like dictatorship. And I ain't about that. So my thing is, I like leadership and assisting people and people following leadership. But when it comes to leaders, I don't consider myself a leader. And I don't look at other people as leaders. But I look at people doing leadership. So
well said. Well said. I don't consider myself a leader as well. A servant, really. Just once you make the observation, you have an obligation.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's another writer downer. Once you make that observation, you have an obligation because, like you said, leaders, before you know it, your head is bigger than Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're solution based, that'll definitely keep you humble and appreciative. So thank you very much. I definitely feel you on that one. Leadership, and not just a leader. Brother Fate, I think we have another gentleman. Brother Fate is going to join us. I believe he's backstage. Brother Fate, you're up. So how did you determine leadership? Before we go back to you, Adrian, how did you discover that leader versus leadership? Brother Kamal.
Yeah. You asking me? Well,
yes,
the way I discovered it, I actually discovered it when I was in middle school because I became captain of my AAU basketball team. And I noticed, I'm like, I done seen other people be captains, but they try to be leaders instead of trying to do leadership and try to actually lead by example. A lot of people don't like to lead by example. They like to lead by running their mouth. All right. And it's like, you got to lead by example. And at the same time, the best leadership really is assisting and helping somebody else shine. You know, now a lot of leaders out here and people that consider themselves leaders and stuff like that, a lot of times they be a little selfish, you know? So that's how I distinguish leaders and leadership. And at the same time, I'm going to keep it all the way funky. A lot of times leaders get, if you get my drift, okay? That's all. Nope. The leader stuff, keep it over there, but I'm all about leadership. So we can all win together.
I like that. I like that. Adrian, can you please give us a description of a good leadership versus bad leadership? Or
absolutely. Yeah, too well, honestly. To me, leadership is the process of influencing a group of people to achieve, let's say, a common goal, right? It's about inspiring and motivating and guiding other people. And really anyone can step into that if they feel like they want to, right? Regardless of their official title. So leadership can really be owned by whoever wants to take on all of the work that comes with that. And so as far as leadership and what it looks like in a poor capacity, I mean, I've had plenty of people in leader roles who have not motivated me or really learned about who I was as an individual to learn what motivates me or to understand what my underlying reason for doing anything, my underlying reason for even waking up every single day, right? Those little tiny points of detail can really make or break a relationship in leadership and getting people to take action towards that common goal. So if we can't, really be human, intertwining personal, professional, and financial, because all of that is so intertwined in life, if we can't address all of those things in a leadership role, it might be a little bit hard for us to understand how to really get someone to take action versus someone else who's not, bringing that to the table, is just kind of telling someone what to do. This is the goal, but I'm going to tell you to do this, blah, blah. I don't really care about your background or your family or anything. And those are the nuances there that I think are so powerful and get people to, subscribe to what you're believing in and push that same goal forward. It's all about collaboration and power in numbers. So leadership is really Kamal, like you had mentioned, bringing people together and showing the way and motivating others, and not just saying a leader by title, but actually based on your actions.
And that's a great segue. We actually going to bring our brother Fate here next. Brother Fate, he definitely demonstrates leadership in many capacities. Have a few feathers in his cap. Brother Fate, welcome to the Young Black in Business segment on the Los Angeles Tribune Leadership Week. How do you define yourself, leader versus leadership?
Well, the responsibility, whether people want to take the responsibility or not, if God has given you that light, it's your responsibility to ignite that light. Now, that's where it comes into, and I teach this all the time, self-love, self-encouragement, self-esteem. This is not somebody else's job. This is your job. And if you're taking a leadership role, that means you, and a lot of people get put into a position that they don't understand. Now that's different. Being put into a position is very different, because you listen to me, to be a leader, you actually had to go into your darkness to understand what the light looks like. And a lot of people take roles, taking them for money or whatever those reasons are. But at the same time, people got to understand that your responsibility is still that vibration you're putting out there, that frequency you're putting out there. I have a lot of different celebrity friends who are like, I'm not trying to be no leader. I ain't trying to do all that. Brother, you got the light. You're the frequency. You're speaking into the atmosphere. You're speaking into the atmosphere. You're changing these kids' lives. Well, it ain't my responsibility. It is your responsibility, because you have the frequency in your space right there. And you have a job to where you can speak into that frequency. Look at the kids today and the direction they're going, because nobody's taking responsibility.
That's beautiful. That really is the price of greatness. That really is the price of greatness, is responsibility. Adrian, like you're getting excited over there. So
mic drop, Fate. You just hit it on the head. Like, that was amazing. You're absolutely right with everything that you said. I sign off on it. Conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of folks just want the crown. We want the anointing. Having that light, that energy within, it's radiant. And really kudos to brother Kamal for just, helping us distinguish leader versus leadership. Who's leadershiping? The next question I want to propose, who do you see right now, and who can you all give kudos to for providing that posture, that insight? Because in order to be a hero, you must have a guru. You had Master Splinter with the Ninja Turtles. Batman has somebody in the background. There's always a guru that's guiding us to the light and helping us along the way. This is a great time as us being servants to be able to give kudos to the ones that showed us the way. We'll go Kamal, Fate, and then Adrian will have you bring it home.
Okay. All right. So people that influence me. Is that what you're asking, right? For leadership?
Perfect. Yes, sir. All
right. So people that influence me, first of all, I got to shout out my Uncle Aaron. He the one that influenced me to be who I am today. You know what I mean? Also, my both my grandmothers, shout out to y'all, and now we're gonna go away from family. My friends out there, Frank, Ro, who else? Chris, the list goes on. Who else? Kiwi, can't forget about my brother Kiwi. They influence my leadership. And now outside of my family and friends, I say people like Tariq Nasheed, Dewan B, Jason Black. Hold on, it's one more person. I can't forget. Philip Scott. You know, these are some people that influence me when it comes to leadership and what I'm fighting for as a person. So
that's beautiful. I'm gonna have one more question coming up for you. You know, brother Kamal, here shortly. Mr. Kent, how about yourself? Who has been your guiding light for leadership?
With me, it's been Jesus, and I don't say that to just have a conversation. I don't say that to have a religion, but I say that in conversation, but relationship. To me to really appreciate anybody else, I really had to learn how to appreciate myself. And when I went inside and figured out the inner man and seeing how to live, because it's an inside job. And when I learned how to operate from the inside out, and then I start to see reflectives of people like, oh, wow, they walking in Christ's light, you know, and this person, because you're getting judged. When you walk in that light, it comes with hate, but you put the hate in the gasoline in the tank to keep going, right? But I would say, because I'm a vocalist as well, Michael Jackson, of course, the only reason with Michael is because God told me a long time ago he was chosen for sacrifice for music. A lot of the celebrities and stuff out there in the world, they didn't give, they didn't do all those things until Michael showed them how to do it. You know, Bono, even though people talk about R. Kelly and stuff like that, I respect him respecting the music mind. I respect him respecting the music mind. His personal business is his personal business, but a personal business and artist is something that's a different ship. That's a different ship. My mother, of course, my mother-in-law, my wife. I love my wife to pieces. She's my ride or die. That's my homie right there. I got a lot of different students I work with constantly. I inspire them, but they inspire me. I never look to be the teacher because I love being teacher and student equally. Right. So it's not really a lot of celebrities that do it for me, but it's the inner self and the people I see that reflect that Christ light every day, not just on when somebody else come around, they turn into something. Because I meet a lot of people like that. They turn all spiritual when I come in the room, but they just got to cussing somebody out.
Hey, that's beautiful. That you're confident to be able to share your faith with the world, and you can be able to stand on that truth and that rock
all day.
So that right there is a powerful, brother. Just for you to be able to have that moxie, that is leadership, live
all day
and direct. Adrian, please share with us because you have the light. I could definitely tell with your posture. Can you share with us who has been a guiding light in your life?
Oh my goodness. It's interesting because I think it's a phases thing, right? As I'm going through life, there's different phases, there's different challenges, there's different teachers that come into my life and show me the way for that phase and that obstacle. And you know, it continues to evolve. And so I would say that let me start by giving sincere gratitude to a good friend of mine, Aaron Lewis, who really checked me as a person and said, I need to focus on myself and my self-love. So for me, that was a huge pivotal point in our friendship, which kind of ended it for a period of time until I got mature enough 2 years later to say, thank you for giving me some tough love. Right. And so he's probably maybe even hearing this for the first time, but, you know, so I would have to say it started there for me to really turn and look in the mirror and say, I've got some work to do. And then my mom really, you know, as I'm leaning on her for support, my mom is just somebody I can tell everything to. And business, she's business savvy and she's people savvy and she's everything that is so what I needed from support. And, you know, she's not going to guide me in the wrong direction. She's got nothing but love and wants to see me do great things. So my mom, first and foremost, is in that number one spot. And my dad as well, right? More through a little bit of tough love and distance, but nonetheless, just people and relationships and showing me my superpowers and then how it relates to his superpowers and that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And these are the things that you want to make sure you don't do with the power that you have in this lifetime. And these are the ways to do it the right way. So don't do what I did, right? So bumped his head a few times so I didn't have to do that. And to me, you know, that type of visibility and transparency in a parental relationship is huge. So I think that really starts at home, right? If we don't have that foundation that's supportive of what we're looking out at the world as, it's going to be really hard. So I would say it starts there. And then, just through more formal coaches and, my network itself. I'm even actually at a speaking engagement right now. And I stepped aside to do this call because this is so important to me. But the group that I'm affiliated with here is all about growth and networking and building your network immediately around you to be supportive of the goals that are important. So, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. Shout out to Jim Rohn on that. And that's just so true. So when I really started stripping my immediate group of people that just weren't capable of helping me get to the next level, still love them to death, but I have such aspirational things that I need to accomplish, that I started infusing my world with other leader type of individuals that could come at me from a way that I respect them so much. And I know that it's nothing but love and they want to see me do great things. So when I was able to start replicating those relationships around me, I mean, I'm on a trajectory right now that I'm so excited about. Now I'm in this place where I'm like, hey, who else can I grab with me on the way? Who else is ready for some ride? And who else wants to take this road trip? Because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be such an amazing journey along the way. And I got to remember to always slow down and grab someone too that's ready to be in that position.
Excellent. Yeah, we have about 5 more minutes before we conclude here, but I want to just share that love is free and hate is expensive. And by listening to all of you in leadership share, it's a common thread of, love, happiness, joy, fulfillment within. And the reason why I say love is free and hate is expensive, when you have love, you bring people together. Hate, separates individuals. So on this call here, we are talking to a global audience. So can you just reflect for about 10 seconds? I'm going to ask you, where are you taking your network? Where are you taking your tribe? Where are you taking your bird tribe? What's next? What's the overall global mission? Share with us your vision, because all of you were vetted, first of all, hand selected, and I went through with a fine-tooth comb to be able to get the right individuals to be able to share on this global podcast about leadership. So if you can just share, we'll go with Brother Fate, then we'll go with Kamal, and then Adrian. I guess you got us wrapping it up again here. But where are you taking the world? Where are we going with you? Where are you taking us with your leadership? What is some of the issues you see? How are you providing those solutions, and where are you taking the people? Brother Fate, you have the floor.
Well, I look at, music is medicine. Music truly is medicine. And right now, I know that God has given me a medicine, and medicine it branches out to whoever needs it. So my focus is the world, like all of the world. I'm a songwriter too. So my music, I'm not just limited in one box or another. I write music for anybody that needs that medicine. And music has changed life through the times. And so God has given me that algorithm to move that frequency. And when I speak to people, I speak into their life. When I stand on stage, that kinetic energy goes into that space, and that's what they get to feel. So mine is a world platform. I'm not looking at just Las Vegas, the world, because this is humanity. We're working as humanity. Jesus was not by himself. He had disciples with him. We got a job to do together for humanity.
I'm going to say a man and a woman, just because, Adrian's on this call as well, brother. Beautiful, always well-spoken. Come on.
So we only got 10 seconds, right?
No. Brother, you got about a minute to be able to share with your global vision about your leadership.
Okay, well, my leadership, my global vision is I'm fighting for us as Black Americans and Black people. My sole mission is, one, I want us to have an anti-Black hate crime bill for us because we are the most targeted out here. 2, I want us to have cash reparation. It's well-deserved and it's owed to us. 3, I want us to be looked at in a certain light because imagery is very important, especially for us as Black Americans. As we can see, all the degenerate stuff that they try to perpetuate out there, that ain't us. All right. I don't like how they try to paint us as we're the criminal class and we're the face of criminology. No, that's false. That's BS. Okay. And I got many other points, but I'm going to leave it at that. if you want to learn more about my leadership and my mission and my points, you can always go to the news station, Kamal Johnson Network.
Say it again for the people in the back, sir.
Kamal Johnson Network. Y'all hear that in the back? All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Adrian, please share with us.
Yes.
Global vision of service.
It's such a good question. And I have been chipping away at this because impact is so hugely important to me. And there's only one of me, though. And so where I found my most well-spent time is to support other businesses who are doing impactful things. So that way we can reach more people, right? So if that's someone being in real estate and creating sustainable and affordable options, or if that is a coach who is just given their life to bettering the lives of other people, that's where I come in and say, hey, what can I do to support you so you can have a better reach and impact more people, right? So I found that that's where I can shine through more and connect with people and leverage their already existing phenomenal skill sets and just reach their audiences better. So that way they can make more of an impact. So I support businesses who do impactful things and have impactful visions. If you don't have an impact, then let's get one clear, because it's not just about making money and it's not just about being well known. It's about what you're actually leaving behind in this world.
Look at that. A phenomenal world. That's why these individuals are handpicked and vetted. If I could just share where I see with 100-year plan, my goal is to duplicate myself. And I'm learning to do that because that's a level 5 leader. Even in my absence, the vision to keep going and the mission to keep going, because this is a long-term, vision. A long-term, if you don't have a long-term vision, you won't get the long yacht, or, sort of say. So having a long-term vision and duplicate myself, that's the level 5 leader, and having that 100-year plan. I may not live to 100 years, but my heirs, they'll be able to carry the story and the legacy. I'm Roosevelt III. I do have a 4th. I plan for him to have a 5th, 6th, and a 7th, and the 8th. Keep that bloodline going. So you can find more at bizcon24.com. We are learning how to identify problems, provide solutions, and solve problems and make a profit. But most importantly, when I'm at this podium, I'll say I can prevent poverty and pollution. For humanity. But really, environmental justice is real big. Not being facetious, I really would like to have more homeowners. I like to create more individual wealth. I would like to, just admire with what Kamal said. We already know about equality. Now it's for us to ascertain our equity. We're also not fighting just for our civil rights, but also our silver rights. We have to be able to have, that long-term plan, and it has to be financed as well. So, but just knowing that we have gold in our soul, and, we got to give the truth for free. Give the truth away for free. As Brother Faye would say in scripture, buy the truth and sell it not. That's Proverbs, one of the wisest books in the Bible. Buy the truth and sell it not. But, how do you buy the truth? You got to spend time with your peers, and on platforms like this, you got to spend time with people you love, spend time with your loved ones, spend time with the truth. You have to have self-reflection. Like I said, that comes within, and you have to love yourself. And so again, we want to just thank our panel for being here. Again, you all are the epitome of service leadership, and we want to thank the Los Angeles Tribune for allowing us to be on the stage. Alva?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Roosevelt,
Thank
give
you.
your invitation again to BizCon 2024. What are people to expect on BizCon 2024? Because that's very exciting. I want to thank Adrian, Kamal, Fade. I have taken so much notes from what you do, and we're very, very excited to see you at BizCon. But for now, tell us about BizCon, Roosevelt.
BizCon, we'll be eliminating brain drains and roadblocks. At BizCon, we want to encourage everyone to come on Saturday, May 11th at the San Diego Convention Center to find one person, just find one person that you could do long-term business with. We'll be galvanizing the best and the brightest entrepreneurs from around the world, literally from around the world, to come and solve problems problems with us. Bring us your problems, not complaints. We have 24 keynote speakers. We have 4 breakout rooms. We're going to have a mastermind on the mezzanine. Our theme this year is technology and innovation. If you do not have technology and innovation in your business, you're not going to scale and hit $1 million. You're not going to be able to solve as many problems as you like, because your business is a problem if you don't have tech in your company in the 21st century. So we'll pretty much be having brain shares. We'll be having market shares. And most importantly, we'll be having a wallet share. BizCon24.com. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. But wait, it gets better. It's absolutely free. It's free for you to attend. You get a free workbook. You also get a free headshot photo and a free swag bag. I learned that from Adrienne. She gave me some of those business tips. So it's totally free. She said, say free as many times as you can. So I'm taking your advice. It's free, free, free for the whole family and community. If you have a heartbeat, we want to see you there. BizCon24.com.
Sure. We are so excited. You know, the BizCon 2024 is actually a collaboration that aims to promote diversity in media by amplifying underrepresented voices, fostering economic development, and empowering young entrepreneurs and creatives in Southern California. So we started this initiative with YBNB and the Los Angeles Tribune back last year. And so it's been 1 year that in every event, we actually have a segment for YBNB to have, you know, diversity in media. And we're excited because talking about making a difference in media and really redefining media. I'm excited because that's the vision of our CEO, Mo Rock. And let me bring back to the stage Rex Sykes. You know, Rex Sykes is going to help us close this evening. We're only on day 2 out of 7 days. So far, you have seen Sharon Lecter, Joe Vitale, Tony Lopez, Mark Victor Hansen, Jay Abraham, Les Brown, so far in just 2 days. We've got more coming. So you can watch the replays. You'll find them in all of the Los Angeles Tribune social media. Rex, what are your thoughts for this last 2 days so far, and what's coming up in the next 5 more days?
You know, we've had some amazing guests and amazing discussions and amazing tips and advice and principles and practices and rules and opportunities to begin to explore that people can put into practice immediately. I mean, it's one thing to sit and get information. It's another thing to take that information and use it to change your circumstances for the better and help others do the same. And, you know, I couldn't be more pleased with the lineup that we've had. I think it's been really, truly impressive. And it's been amazing. And the last discussion that we've had here with Roosevelt and the others, just, you know, what a wonderful way to end the day with it's not enough just to get the information, but to have the desire and the inclination to use it. Then that means being hopeful and optimistic, you know, and being able to see how you can implement it and see the change that you want to be in the world and then make that happen. And, you know, who better to have than Roosevelt, his guests, and all the people on the program. But I want to take a special moment, and I want to thank you, Ava, for everything that you've done to bring this about, because without you, we would not have this event. And Alicia, and I want to thank Jim Miller and Joe Ingram. I want to thank Parisa and Joy and Julie. I want to thank, whom am I forgetting?
Rachel Weaver.
Who?
Rachel Weaver also.
Rachel Weaver. I mean, all the people who helped host this, both in front on camera, like we are right now, and those people behind the scenes. But so who am I missing? I know I'm missing Mo Rock, but he goes without saying at this moment.
Well, you know, thank you for the flowers, Rex, but it does come with a whole team and a whole amount of committed leaders to put it together. Like, for example, you know, all of the connections. Rachel Weaver is actually bringing Seth Godin, Jim Miller.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Michael Silvers, for sure.
Michael Silvers.
Michael Silvers is bringing, so all of our co-producers and co-hosts are bringing experts, you know, and connections. And, you know, one of the things that Jay Abraham said today was the power of connections, collaboration, and partnership. And that's what we do really, really well at the Los Angeles Tribune, including our relationship with Roosevelt Williams III and YBNB. So with this, Roosevelt, let me just ask you, what does it mean to you to have a representation in media through the Los Angeles Tribune?
It's everything. Like our past guest Kamal has said, we're dispelling the myth. That especially with our diversity, equity, and inclusion partnership that we have, that all minorities are not underemployed, unemployed, and unemployable. We get to be able to tell our story, share our story, have that representation. So, I mean, this partnership with the Los Angeles Tribune means a great deal to not just myself, but to many, to have a positive image and to be able to share your testimony, for us to be able to share our experiences, our journeys, for individuals to be able to see a representative on camera, in paper. Never underestimate the power of the printed word. So, that's a big deal, for us and my heirs to be able to see that. And I wanted to say the Los Angeles Tribune is doing a great job documenting the stories. Diversity works. And to be able to have great individuals like Rex and so many others, it's like a mixed salad. Individuals can come to a safe place and to be able to collaborate, be able to exchange ideas, be able to, debate, joust each other, but to be able to take away a clear understanding of love, peace, and happiness. And only the Los Angeles Tribune can provide that. So we're proud partners. I want to just give a huge shout out to Mo Rock for being a man of his word. And the whole team is inspiring. To put on something like this is a great endeavor. So, it's an honor, and all of our members of our network, Young Black in the Business, is thrilled when they get the invitation to participate. So, again, Alva, we want to just give a kudos to you and the team. Alicia's doing a great job. Rex, man, to see you on the live, hanging in there, it's always a pleasure and a privilege to work with the team. And
well, Roosevelt, what's coming up? Let me tell you what's coming up. What's coming up is Juneteenth. And while other media are, reporting on other news and other negative news, we here at the Los Angeles Tribune will be giving honor to Juneteenth, and we'll be celebrating Juneteenth. So that's what's coming up in the month of June. How excited are you for that, Roosevelt? You're ready?
I could run through a brick wall right now.
We've got a lot of powerful speakers that we're looking forward to having, really to support Juneteenth. We're looking forward to having, Congresswoman Walters, and of course, the Secretary of State. We're looking forward to a lot of even the mayor of Los Angeles. We're looking forward. We're not committing and saying they're coming, but of course, the outreach is out there, and we're celebrating Juneteenth with a bang here at the Los Angeles Tribune.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Go
ahead, Rex.
I just wanted to say, if there's anybody I forgot to name, I apologize, because you're all so very important in making this happen, and not only making it happen, but getting it out there to the people who will want to watch it and then want to share it. And what we've created right here, right now, with Roosevelt and everyone, you, Ava, is something that will last forever.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just lasts forever. It's the internet now has it, it's going to last forever.
For sure. And, this is all through the vision of our CEO, the CEO of the steward of the Los Angeles Tribune, Mo Rock, in an effort to bridge the gap from the news being more tilted towards negative news. With one positive news, with every one positive news, it's equivalent to 70 negative news. And so we're redefining media. We're redefining what it means to be a major national, as a matter of fact, global. Media brand, global media brand. And so in closing of day 2, we want to play, for you, the TEDx talk of the man of the vision of the LA Leadership Week, Mo Rock.
Imagine waking up in the morning, grabbing your morning coffee, and opening up your daily newspaper to nothing but headlines that inspire and uplift you. Headlines like the Apollo 11 moon landing and how it inspired people in the 60s, or headlines like the Berlin Wall has collapsed, or even more recently, headlines like the miracle on the Hudson. What would that do to your day when you started off with just positive news? My name is Mo Rock. I'm the CEO of a national newspaper brand, and today, together, we are reimagining journalism. You see, studies reveal that there is a stark contrast between positive news and negative news. In fact, for every piece of news that is solutions-based, that can uplift and inspire you, there are at least 17 that don't. That's 17 to 1. So today, we are actually faced with an epidemic of negative news. We've all heard the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. But why does this have to be the centerpiece of a lot of news production, journalism, and content creation of the world today? There are a lot of incredible journalists that are solutions orientated, and I give a lot of credit to them for doing a great job. And here's the truth that you may not realize, is that everyone in this room is impacting our news. You see, every single time you like a post, every single time you leave a comment on a news article, and every single time you share something, you're not just liking, commenting, and resharing. You're actually casting a vote. You're not only casting a vote for the kind of news you want to consume, but believe it or not, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. You see, I believe that news has the power to not just inform you, but it has the power to mold you. Our world views are largely shaped based on the news and content that we consume. And so I want to encourage folks to remember that the next time that they like, comment, and share. Our organization has one question that it always has to ask before we share anything, print anything, or publish anything. Our editorial team asks this one very simple question. Does the following piece of news empower our audience, or does it disempower our audience? What would the world look like if every content creator, every journalist, every time someone posted a news article, they asked that question? Does the following piece of content empower our audience or disempower our audience? And I want to encourage everyone to participate in this process and help us bridge that gap between 17 negative news articles for every one positive. And let's come together and ultimately make this world a better place. Thank you.